Dead by Daylight is coming up on its 10-year anniversary, and recently on Twitter, Flats had his own opinions about the game.
Have you played Dead by Daylight before? They're about to celebrate their 10-year anniversary in just a few days.
That game's been out for 10 years? That game has really been terrorizing people for 10 years? That's crazy. Yes, the answer is yes, I've played it. I will never willingly play that game again, unfortunately. That game scares me. Listen, a lot of people, myself included, talk a lot of shit about Rivals and Overwatch communities, and hell, I've played some gacha games. All of those pale in comparison to how fucking awful Dead by Daylight is. Dead by Daylight makes League look like a welcoming, fun community. Dead by Daylight is a game where you have to play by the made-up rules, not just by the game. You have to know the social rules. If you don't play the social rules, you've got some guy that's sending a hit on you through the deep, dark web, trying to have someone find your address because you walked around too many times and you put some guy on a hook too many times.
Everything he's saying is absolutely correct. This game is completely hard when it comes to its player base.
Like, anyone who plays her, like, just is no life in her is, like, legitimately a loser, because of how overpowered she is.
And even though he is right, there are still people saying stuff like this. It's crazy how out of touch this is, and how much it can hurt the game when an uneducated platformed person decides to talk shit. I played Valorant for years, and it was 10 times more toxic than DBD. The amount of disgusting threats I heard / received is nothing compared to DBD. I could say the exact opposite. I've played Valorant for more than 4 years, and I have barely had any people be toxic, compared to when I played Dead by Daylight, where I've been threatened with swats, doxed, and some of the most heinous slurs that can be said have been said to me. A couple hours later on Twitter, CARJAM was talking about how Dota and League actually have more toxicity than DBD. But although at a blanket statement that might be true, what he's forgetting is the context of each of these games. Dead by Daylight is supposed to be a casual party game, and doesn't have any competitive modes or competitive reasons to win your matches. So getting the level of toxicity that we get in those games is incredibly jarring. But games like League of Legends and Dota, people have spent so many thousands of hours of their life grinding that game in order to get better than everybody else. So if you're deliberately throwing their game there, or if you're doing so unbelievably bad that your teammates can't even carry you, people, although it isn't right, are far more likely to be toxic because they have spent God knows how many hours just to rank up a single time. But in Dead by Daylight, all you're playing for is blood points. So the fact that we even have enough toxicity for people outside of the community to only know us for that, it speaks levels. Whilst having no active in-game voice or text chat, which both of those games also have. And also, a friend of mine, quietkills, has had so many examples of this that don't even scratch the surface of some of the things that people have said and done after losing a match of DBD. And in a stream that lasted less than 2 hours, he somehow managed to get told to end his life. This is all over a casual party game, by the way. This whole thing about talking about each game's player base shouldn't be a comparison of whose shit is shittier, but rather how can we improve these player bases and get rid of people like this. Going into the made up social rules that people that play this game have made, the people who made up these rules and harass you if you don't follow them are the most entitled people and the last to take any form of accountability. They will always be the first to go right to the endgame chat to say how you were a bad teammate or that your killer didn't play by their rules. These people suffer from a rare disease only found in the lowest IQ of people, mopsimus. Simply put, anything that happened to the game is never their fault. If they lose a mind game, it's their teammates' fault. If they don't escape, the killer shouldn't have tunneled. Nothing bad that happens in that game can ever be tied back to them, because they are the ultimate being of perfection. Starting off with a person on Twitter. This person was recently in a quietkills video, saying, "Slugging isn't how you play DBD. That's how you hold the game hostage and get banned. Argue with the wall, miserable basement dwelling killer mates." But hey, they doubled down on their low IQ take and said this. "I know I'm right. Slugging is cheap and boring as fuck. It quite literally falls under refusing to participate in normal gameplay. It is literally taking a game hostage and is against their rules. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. So I don't want to fucking hear it." Oh really? It's against their rules? So why on the official behavior website, the list for invalid bans are the following: camping, slugging, tunneling, stream sniping, teabagging, body blocking, and looping are all invalid report reasons. But going back to them saying it's boring and cheap, explain to me in a 10-page essay how any killer would avoid any of these scenarios. People who think like this refuse to see how the game is played on the other side. That's like if I as killer said the survivors doing different gens is unfair or cheap. It is simply how both sides play at their best. Speaking of making the best plays, I was playing Huntress on Dead Sands when after an unhook I went to the closest gen, where I see a Sable who recently came off hook, and also a Nicolas Cage. But I'll just show you what happened. We love the asymmetrical games done by Daylight where the guy can just run at you at Mach speed and have decisive strike. Alright, we love a lose-lose scenario because of perks. Even though going against this is incredibly annoying, it is still a good play. They're using what's in the game to their best advantage. If I don't pick up the survivor, they end up getting up. But if I pick them up, I'm forced to eat the decisive strike. Funny enough, this exact interaction on Jason recently got nerfed for the exact same issue, using his power in an unintended way. Safe to say, behavior really does a good job at balancing both sides. But you would think after this play, this Sable would be happy. But funny enough, after her 5-second chases and me winning the game, she went straight to the endgame chat saying, "Hard tunnel slop, seek help." Says the guy who literally ran at me and forced the decisive. Genuinely, this was a rage bait game. This was a planned match by Behavior Interactive to see how much mental warfare a person can take. Her inability to see that I tunneled because she literally forced me to is insane. It's like if I took all of the water from somebody and wondered why they died of dehydration. And people with this line of thinking are honestly destroying the game. And for one more bonus example, I was playing a game doing a challenge where I try to use every item in a single match. Going into these games, I knew I would still have to do gens and help out with the unhooks, which I did. But this teammate that I had really didn't like that. Are we serious? Are we serious? There's no fucking way. Because I wasn't playing at this person's speed, they decided to just throw me under the bus. Not looping the killer, not giving me a chance to do gens, but rather just lead the killer straight to me and then go in my chat and start saying shit to me. Something you have to understand when you're playing Survivor, especially if you're not on comms, is you need to play with your teammates. If your teammates are playing slow, it's safe to say you shouldn't play fast, and vice versa. Was there moments in this challenge that I definitely could have helped more? For sure. And you can 100% say I was a bad teammate for that. But to just throw the game and throw your teammates under the bus because something didn't go your way or the way you intended it to go is blatant entitlement.